And we're back, y'all. Thank you for watching today. Go ahead and hit that like button, my people. You know that it helps us out a ton. And of course, it helps you because it helps us keep bringing you this content. Now, y'all, your girl, Michelle Wu, you know, the mayor of Boston, you know, the face of the, how do we say, welcoming city movement in the United States. She is being blasted today by, this is an opinion in the Boston Herald, which says, Michelle Wu's duplicitous stunt, the latest Democratic tactic. Now, in order for you to get context, because we're going to read through this a little bit so you can understand why this columnist is absolutely going in on Michelle Wu. But first, you need to know the latest thing that she did. You know, she done did something, y'all. You know that. You know how she is. She's always out here protecting people. Well, she really can't protect them, but she's trying to, you know, she's using the limited to no power that she has in the immigration arena to try to protect people from deportation, people who are in the country without permission. So she signed an executive order recently. So that sets the backdrop for this blasting of her by the Boston Herald. So first, let's take a look at what she done did, and then we'll come back and take a look at how the Boston Herald columnist is going in on her. But before we do, y'all, make sure you take care of your money. I'm not going to make this a long one, y'all. Go to Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com, or call 844-651-8334, 844-651-8334. If you have $50,000 to $100,000 or more in your retirement, protected from inflation, protected from monetary debasement, you're about to retire. Make sure your money's still there and it's still worth something by investing at least some of it in gold. Talk to our partners at Augusta Precious Metals. Go click the link now, get the free information, and protect your precious retirement.
My advice to Tom Homan and ICE is to take a time out. Reassess what you are doing and how you are doing it. A little friendly advice from the safest major city in the country.
That is Boston's mayor pushing back again on ICE on what she calls their secret police tactics. Boston 25 News reporter Kelly Sullivan live at City Hall this morning. And Kelly, the mayor says there's a lack of transparency from the Trump administration.
So much so that Mayor Michelle Wu signs an executive order seeking more information from federal officials on ICE activity. And she says, in fact, her office plans to regularly submit Freedom of Information Act requests to the Department of Homeland Security to find out who's being detained and why. So Mayor Wu, she doubled down again, referring to ICE's operations as secret police tactics, arresting people without due process, wearing masks, and questioning residents about their immigration status based on their ethnicity. Mayor Wu said the Trump administration is making the city less safe and undermining Boston's economic progress, tourism, and growth of small businesses. The city has already taken several legal actions to oppose the administration's attempts to end birthright citizenship, oppose ending humanitarian protections for immigrants, and challenging billions in cuts to funding for medical research. Now, this latest order, Wu said, is to let the community know that Boston is not backing down.
We are taking every possible action here in our city to push back and to stand up for basic rights, for our freedoms, and for the opportunities that we have been building here as a city whose mission every day is to be a home for everyone.
Now, just last week, ICE leaders held a news conference announcing the arrest of nearly 1,500 people in a month-long effort. ICE officials said their work was essential to restore public safety. However, Mayor Wu went on to say that Boston is one of the safest major cities in the country, and she doesn't need federal officials telling Boston what safety looks like. Reporting live from City Hall, Kelly Sullivan for your local station, Boston 25 News.
All right, so now that you've seen that, let's take a look at what this columnist says. This is Joe Battenfield. He says, Michelle Wu's duplicitous stunt demanding freedom of information responses from ICE is just the latest laughable Democratic tactic to stoke opposition to President Trump's deportation roundup. Wu signed an executive order requesting ICE release information on all its immigration arrests, even though her own administration routinely ignores or objects to such public information requests. Sound like Fonnie Willis down in Fulton County, doesn't it, y'all? Quote, "My advice to Tom Homan and ICE is to take a time out," Wu said, pointedly speaking to the feds as if they were 5-year-olds. The maneuver to send FOIA requests was designed strictly to position her politically as Trump's public enemy number one and keep the spotlight on the, quote, "secret police tactics of ICE." It's a federal law they're enforcing. What right does the Boston mayor have to demand information about federal agents? Yet Wu clearly is reveling in her status as national spokesperson for Democrats protesting the immigration arrests. It's especially helpful for her in an election year. Josh Kraft cannot compare with Wu on immigration and in fact has basically the same position as her. The question is it a winning strategy for Democrats nationally? After trying to tie Trump up with lawsuits, Democrats are now fueling the perception of nationwide outrage against ICE by supporting rioting protesters in cities like Los Angeles. Their ridiculous claim that protests are peaceful needs a reality check. Looting, police officers being attacked, and cars set on fire is not peaceful. So y'all, I'm gonna leave down the link if you want to check out the rest of this column. You already know how I feel about a lot of this stuff. But you know what? There wouldn't be a sanctuary city if there weren't sanctuary governors. And as you can see here, the sanctuary governors just this week went on to Capitol Hill to testify about their sanctuary ways, okay? So y'all, this is kind of there's a divide in this country. You have sanctuaries where people, governors and cities are like, "Hey, come on over here. Come on over here. We'll spend our money to assist you," right? And then you have other states that are like, you need to get your situation straightened out first. Let's take a look at what these sanctuary governors had to say.
They aimed their sharpest immigration barbs at Governor Tim Walz and 2 other Democratic governors today.
The highly partisan House Oversight Committee took up the issue of states with sanctuary cities. Fox 9's Corin Hoggard focused on the Minnesota connection. So, Corin, what did we learn from the hearing today?
Well, Kelsey and Tim, we didn't really learn a lot. This is a committee that members of both parties have used to just launch attacks against their enemies. And so today we heard them launching verbal attacks for about 4 hours.
Welcome, everyone, to the Oversight reality TV show.
Earlier this year, I launched an investigation into the radical pro-illegal immigration policies of sanctuary jurisdictions.
Minnesota is not a sanctuary state, but House Republicans, including Minnesota's Tom Emmer, targeted Governor Walz ostensibly because of Attorney General Keith Ellison's memo saying law enforcement could be civilly liable for helping ICE enforce immigration detainers, which require no probable cause and which courts have ruled are not mandatory orders.
You agree with the Attorney General's guidance?
What I would say on this is that Minnesota follows all law.
Minnesota Democrats criticized Emmer's approach.
There's a mean-spiritedness to that is intended to push us apart from one another.
The state's law enforcement shares the immigration status of convicted felons with Homeland Security and cooperates when ICE has judicial warrants. But Emmer accused Walz of signing laws too friendly to undocumented immigrants.
By turning Minnesota into a magnet for illegals, you have opened up our communities to dangerous criminals, including known terrorists, gang members, murderers, and child predators.
And when it comes to serious crime, Minnesota has hit its lowest level in over 3 decades, and we consistently have lower violent crime rates than the U.S. average.
The governors repeatedly shifted the focus to what they see as unpopular Republican policies, including impending Medicaid cuts. And Walz also tried to flip the sanctuary script as damaging to police.
Last week, a list of supposed sanctuary cities or counties were put out. Many of those were counties in Minnesota that had gone above and beyond. Their sheriffs said it put them at risk because they were doing that. They were sharing information and doing what they're supposed to do. It's a coordination issue.
But you said in your answer it's only if they've been convicted of crimes that
or a judicial warrant. Or a judicial warrant. That's correct. After due process has been served.
And I talked to members of the governor's staff after the hearing, and they reminded me that Minnesota is not a sanctuary state. So they thought it was pretty obvious that House Republicans just called Walz out there for political show. Live at the governor's office, Corin Hoggard, Fox.
So y'all, you know I'm going to keep bringing you this news. Remember, I have a family full of immigrants. My wife is a legal immigrant in the United States. She wasn't born here. She wasn't raised here. She came here as an adult. My kids were born in a foreign country, 2 out of 3 of them. Okay, so I love immigrants. You know, when I go to her country, I'm an immigrant. So, you know, I just think we need to have laws. We need to do it the right way. I want to know what y'all think. Let me know down in the comments. So I guess the question for today will be, how do you see all of this developing? You know, there's a parade today. If you're listening to this after the parade, you can let us know what happened. Okay. Let us know how do you think this is going to develop? Do you think Will's going to win the election? Let me know. Drop a comment down below, but before you do, please stop, hit the share button, share this video out over email, text message, WhatsApp, Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, all of your favorite social mediums. And of course, if you're not a subscriber, please do subscribe. Also, for all my people with the retirement, have you seen the craziness happening? There's a war going on in the Middle East right now between 2 major powers. Do you want your money to still be around when it's time for you to collect, whether it's in a year, 2 years, 10 or 20? Guess what? Gold is one of your best protections. At least it has been historically. Go to Paralegold, PARALEGOLD.com, or call my people at Augusta Precious Metals at 844-651-8334. I want to thank y'all for watching. Love y'all, and we'll see you back in the next one.